life. And so it's just a matter of uncovering what that is and then maybe seeking some assistance to release it.
Sure.
And then they can move forward in that new experience. Okay. So the old story, which doesn't work, which they're very familiar with, which is that numbness, or that, my life is the same thing every day, or I don't have anything to look forward to, or I'm lacking of all of these things in my life. To start telling a different story about even what their intent is enough. Even to say, this is how I have been feeling, and my intent is to feel this way. Or my intent is to shift out of this old place into the new place. And so by focusing on the intent to have a different story, again, the way the law of attraction works, that they're more likely then to begin that shift, to manifest in more of the new story, which is where they want to be.
Right.
Because the old story isn't where they want to be, but the old story is all they know. And so they keep their focus with what they know, which keeps them stuck.
Well, that's just it. You don't want to think outside the box or go outside the box, because that's your comfort level sometimes.
Yep.
And so if we can just sort of, somebody, a best friend, just to nudge you a little bit along,
Yes.
Or that job interview or something, to try and improve. Oh, I'll never get that job. There's so many people better. Well, take that long shot.
Yeah.
And because you're already defeating yourself, because you're not taking or creating that possibility of making something a little better. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's a really important point. Something that you had mentioned is that that's what they're comfortable with. So the old story, even though people can identify that that doesn't work for them, it's what's familiar. And so there's safety there. There's security there in what's comfortable. And so I think that in itself can hold people back, because the new story is unfamiliar. It's unknown territory. What if I fail?
Yeah.
What will I do? Who will I be? In all of these ways that will work better for me, but it's a little bit scary, I think, at first, because they're not familiar with it. And so we work on that in sessions, which is to work on creating enough safety on the inside, enough feeling of security, enough support so that people can shift into a new way of being. And even though it's a little strange at first, because they don't really know how that feels, that they know that they're safe in it and that they can become comfortable. It's just a transition.
And I know sometimes people are afraid of change, but change can be good.
And that's exactly it. They're just, they're afraid of the change. But there is an opportunity waiting for them on the other side of that.
And it could be a positive one. So, so I wanted to know a little bit about, how do your affirmations actually change your beliefs about yourself?
Yes, that's a good question. It goes back to that reparenting that I was talking about. So if someone is consistently giving themselves positive affirmations and I call it rewriting the script. So they're rewriting the script of their life into the new story, and consistently that's where their focus is. Then that's their beliefs, because beliefs are really thoughts. So beliefs are thoughts that we hold for a long period of time becomes a belief. So as they focus their thoughts on the new story, the positive affirmations, consistently those shift into beliefs, and they become new beliefs that we have. And I know that it is possible, because I've done this work myself, where I've really shifted out of old beliefs that didn't work for me into new beliefs. But it does take time, and it doesn't have to be work, but it does need to be intentional. People need to be intentional that is where they want to go. That's where they want to make the shift. They can't just say it once and then never think about it again and then expect that their life is going to shift.
Right. Well, you've had so many years this other way, and then how long do you need, would you say, to actually
integrate a new belief
that
system?
actual thought?
Yep. It varies, I think, with different people. It could take them 6 months to start to notice the shift. It could take a year. It could take longer. It could take 4 weeks. It just depends upon how intentional someone is, and how often they're practicing their new focus to make that transition. And a lot of times, it doesn't take that long to begin to notice a difference in how you feel in life.
Exactly. We all seem to get very, very impatient with ourselves in the sense of, oh, gosh, this was 2 weeks ago.
Right.
You know, and it's like, wait a minute, you've had these thoughts, beliefs for 7 years and you want it to take place.
Or 30 years, or 40 years.
Exactly.
So it doesn't happen overnight, and I often will tell people because they are their own worst critic. And I find that some people are perfectionists, and they think that, you know, I'm doing all the right things and saying all the right things, so why isn't my life looking different, or why isn't it happening? And so I really remind them to breathe and to surrender the outcome, to trust in the process, and that they will get there, and there's no perfect way to do it.
Right.
That's what they're trying to get away from, is having to be perfect. You know, they get to be human. They get to love themselves for being human, and that they will get there.
Right. And to me, my whole philosophy is always, a mistake is not a mistake if you live and learn by it.
Yes.
And that's the process of life.
Yes.
Is that you actually go through life and you do make mistakes. Hopefully they're not life-threatening type of mistakes, but that you grow from that.
Yes, and that's how we learn about ourselves. We learn about ourselves through mistakes, and that is how we make growth.
Right.
And so it's really just being okay with ourselves, that it's okay if we make a mistake. We're not perfect. We don't have to be perfect. If we were parenting our own child of ourselves, or I should say if we were parenting our child, separate from us, we would want to validate them. We would want to tell them that it's okay, that we support them no matter what, and that they don't have to be perfect at something, that they can feel really good about themselves for whatever it looked like or however they tried. And so to incorporate that into parenting our own little girl or our own little boy, so that child that's still inside of us, to be that nurturing and encouraging and supportive of ourselves, is just as important as it is to be that way with other people.
Right. Well, how does being authentic to yourself help attract in the things that you want in your life?
Yes, that's a good question. What I tell people is that, again, with the law of attraction, being authentic with yourself is just being honest with yourself, giving yourself permission to be who you are with yourself, with others in the world. And so being authentic with yourself brings in authenticity from other people, or authentic situations and authentic experiences, which is really, I think, what we want, because we don't want to have to pretend. You know, we don't want to have to pretend that we're someone who we aren't. We want to be who we are. And so it has to come from us first. We have to be authentic with ourselves before we can be authentic with other people, or expect other people to be authentic with us.
Right. And the thing about being authentic with ourselves is that we have to really know that we are our one and only person. There is only one of us.
Yes, and to love that person.
Exactly. Okay, well, I guess we have already run out of time. And thank you so much for joining us. It has been a pleasure having you on the show, Rachel.
Thanks. I've enjoyed being here. Thanks for having me.
It's been a delight. And I'd like to invite you back another time.
I would love that.
Yeah. So please be sure to tune in again to other shows of Knowledge for Wellness to enhance your overall understanding. And visit my website at www.knowledgeforwellness.com. And I hope we have provided you with more knowledge to benefit you and your loved ones. Until next time, be well. Goodbye. And Rachel, thank you again.
Yeah.